Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The Saints are going to host the Eagles Sunday in the Dome. Injury reports out Friday. A.J. Brown, the great wide receiver for the Eagles, not going to play in the ball game. He's out, injury. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was added to the injury report, but did go on Friday. He's going to be able to play. Taysom Hill, questionable. Everybody else for the Saints looks like they're going to be able to go. Everybody of significance is going to be able to go, which is really good news. Marshawn Lattimore should be back this week as well. I think one of the things that will be really interesting to me is going to be this idea of the resurgent dome field advantage, which during the Peyton Breeze era, teams just didn't win in New Orleans. It was for a while the best home field venue in the NFL.
Agreed.
Especially in primetime. The Saints never lost in primetime in the Dome. And that's been more of a 50-50 proposition the past few years, certainly since Sean Payton's been gone. You've missed the playoff 3 straight years, and the vibes around the franchise haven't been good. I mean, this entire offseason, we all, my hands in the air, I'm not excusing myself, we all talked about how this would be it for Dennis Allen. It was an inevitability. How do you get out of the Derek Carr contract? Well, 2 games is all it's taken to make everybody perk up and think this team has real contender potential, because it's not just that you're 2-0, but the manner in which you've gotten to 2-0. You didn't just beat Carolina, who's the doormat in the NFL, but they're still a professional football team. I mean, you beat them 47-10. You don't hang half 100 on people in the NFL. And a lot of people hand-waved it because it was Carolina, and I can understand having a healthy degree of skepticism, but then you go on the road to Dallas, where they hadn't lost in 2 years. They won their last 16 home games. And you blow the doors off of them. I mean, the offense has had the ball 15 times this year. They have scored all 15 possessions. Like, that doesn't happen in the NFL. It's an incredible way. It's not just that they're 2-0, it's how they've gotten to 2-0 that is most impressive. Now, I look at this matchup in particular. So to finish that point, I am interested in the home field advantage, the dome field advantage, because the crowd, the fan base, everybody is energized. And when you go in that building and it's at full throat and it's a fever pitch, it's like walking into the middle of a bass drum, because it's indoors, man. The sound can't escape. It is hell to be in that place whenever it's loud for an opponent. And it's going to be like that Sunday with Philly coming in. You could probably speak to this as well. I'm a big believer, I've always been a big believer in, as I say it, not just who you play, but when and where you play them. So Philly just played on Monday Night Football. They lost a home game to Atlanta, a game they had no business losing. They gagged it away at the end. They let Atlanta get a stop, go right down the field at the end, and score the game-winning touchdown as time was running out. So they've got to be disappointed. But it's tough in the NFL to play on a short week, especially when you have to travel. It's why the home team generally does so well on Thursday Night Football. I mean, the Jets last night blew out New England. It was never competitive. It wasn't just because it was a short week, and that's New York and Boston are close together, but short week and you have to travel, it just compresses everything. It makes the degree of difficulty even greater in the NFL. So I think it's a tough spot for Philly, even though they let one get away last week at home. I think the spot is tough, like going on the road on a short week. Right? I mean, rehab, recovery in a short week.
You're taking 2 days away. I mean, the travel day to me is counted as that's a day.
Yeah.
You know, and traveling, getting on the plane, you get dehydrated, just changes things up. So, yeah, I mean, just because they're not practicing or playing on that travel day doesn't mean that it's not taxing on the body. So you're 100% correct. Going into a stadium, I talk about the situation all the time in L.A., for instance. You go play the Dodgers in the middle of the season, and it's the easiest place to play in Major League Baseball. The fans don't show up till the third inning. and they leave in the 7th inning. Nobody cheers. They don't even know what's going on. And it's beautiful weather and it's perfect, and it's LA. It's great. You go play there in the playoffs, and they're throwing batteries at you and ice and the thing. They have to police escort your families out of the place. So yeah, I mean, a facility like the Dome, the home field advantage it is real. That is a real thing. When you see coaches pleading and asking for fans to come, the one that does it the best is here in town, and Coach Kim Mulkey. I mean, she everywhere she goes, she's always talking because she understands the advantage that gives, and the Dome provides an opportunity and an atmosphere for that.
I think it's well said. I think the Saints are obviously going to have a huge home field advantage in this game. There's a couple of things about this game that I think I look at matchup-wise that I'm curious. So offensively, I think the Saints are going to be fine. The Eagles' defense, they have invested so much into this defense. From Jalen Carter going 9 overall, Nolan Smith was a first-rounder, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis. They've invested so much draft capital into this defense. And they have been one of the worst defenses so far through 2 games this year. I think the Saints offense, I don't look at this as what we thought Philly was going to be. I'm looking at this as what I have seen from Philly through 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to stop the Saints offense. Now, I'm not telling you the Saints are going to go score 40 again, but the Saints are going to move the ball and score. I don't think this is one of those, you come back down to reality because you step up in competition. Philly and Vic Fangio, they have issues defensively. Giving up a game-winning touchdown the way they did to Atlanta was inexcusable. And, of course, they also had to play Green Bay in week 1 down in Brazil and gave up 34 in that game. I think Philly defensively has problems, and the Saints are going to be able to take advantage of it. So that's number one. The other side of the ball, though, is where I have this is my real cause for concern. The Saints under Dennis Allen struggle with mobile quarterbacks. That is a fact. This is a thing that we have talked about for as long as Dennis Allen has been there. And Dennis Allen is a great defensive coordinator. For whatever I have thought and said about him as a head coach, which I think is completely legitimate, as a defensive coordinator, he's undeniable. The Saints organization turned when they got rid of Rob Ryan and brought Dennis Allen back. Undeniable. He's a great defensive coordinator. They have not figured this out, mobile quarterbacks. And twice they've faced Jalen Hurts. They faced him in 2020 and 2021. The game in 2020 in Philly, the Saints lost 24-21. And then in 2021, when they played in Philly, they lost 40-29. In both instances, Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders went off. In 2 games, Hurts has 175 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in his 2 starts against New Orleans. The Saints went there 2 years ago and won. Gardner Minshew was in for an injured Jalen Hurts, and the Saints won that game 20-10. This is where I go, okay, we have legit questions about the Saints' run defense. They were 27th in the NFL last year. They were not very good against the run. We all hope Brian Brzee is getting better this, in his second year. But this is a different challenge. Carolina was no good. And then last week, Dallas doesn't really have a running back. Tony Pollard's gone in free agency. Ezekiel Elliott's 100 years old. And they got so far behind, they had to throw it. What does it look like now when you start 0-0 and if Philly is able to run the ball? That's where I think this does level the playing field a bit in this game, and I think that makes this much more competitive. So I think the Saints' offense is going to be fine. I really am concerned defensively with their ability to stop this particular rushing offense. We were both wrong last week. You picked Dallas 27-3. I picked Dallas 31-21. I thought the Saints' offense would come back to earth a little bit, and I even said, granted, I think I'm undervaluing the Saints' defense too much, and clearly I was. I got it wrong. What do you think? Saints Eagles in the Dome Sunday.
It's going to be 15-6.
15-6.
15-6 Philadelphia.
15-6 Philly.
Yep.
Do you want to give me a real score?
That's the real score.
15-6.
50. I mean,
so the Saints, which have scored in every possession in 2 games, are going to be limited. Is it 2 field goals? Or are they going to get a touchdown and miss a PAT?
No, they're not going to score.
You said 15-6.
3 safeties.
3 safeties. Got it.
3 safeties. I don't know if that's a record, but that's
that would have to be a record. I don't know if we can look at that.
15-6, 3 safeties. That's what I'm thinking.
I
I just got a hunch. I got a feeling.
Okay.
I'm going with it.
I am going to say that the Saints on their home field with a big crowd get this done, but I think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game. The total, I think, is 49 right now. I don't know if that's changed. Total on this game, did you see it? I think it was 49. It's okay. I'm like, 49.5 is the total. I think it's over.
Really?
I think I'll pick New Orleans 31-30. I think there's they just can't. They have not shown that they can stop Jalen Hurts, and now you have Saquon Barkley, who's a better running back than Miles Sanders when he's right. I know there's no Jason Kelsey, which changes the dynamic on the offensive line. I just think this is a game where we are going to see a lot of offense. But the Saints at home, Eagles traveling on a short week. I'm going to give a slight edge to New Orleans here. I think the Eagles are still a really good team, but they're in a little bit of a desperate spot. The Saints flying high, great home crowd. Close game, but I think the Saints are going to win it. Give me the Saints 31-30 at home. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.